It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here. And y'all know my guy, Carlos King, has been guest hosting.
Yes.
And how could I not have you here while we talk to Mona Scott Young, Jussie Smollett, and Jabari Red.
Yay.
And now the reason the three of them are here is for The Lost Holiday.
Yes.
That's a new movie that's going to be limited release in theaters, AMC theaters, correct?
Yes,
Correct.
that's correct. September
Friday.
27th. September 27th.
All right, so let's get into it. So Mona, this is something that you're executive producing?
Producing along with,
okay.
yes, Tressa Smallwood, shout out to Megamind Media.
Right.
And Jussie's A Supermassive Movie.
Yes.
Okay.
That is actually the name of his production
Absolutely.
company. A Supermassive Movie. So even if the movie ain't that good, because it's produced by a supermassive movie.
Then you know it will be damn good.
Yeah, exactly. That
That's
was
all.
a smart move, though. That
Yeah.
was a smart move.
Supermassive is
Thank
good
you.
in many ways. you know?
Exactly. Many ways.
Right. You already know. So whatever industry we do.
So Jussie, you're super massive?
No matter what.
Oh. All right.
Well,
Hit the shade.
I'm sorry, should I move out of the way?
Mona, stay right there.
Yes.
Now, Jabari, I met you before at the BET Awards with Jussie. He was there. You guys were promoting B-Boy Blues. And Mona, you were involved in that too.
Absolutely,
So this is like
yeah.
the team.
This is the family.
This is the family.
This is the family, yeah.
You guys do great work together because Angela, I was watching the movie and it's really good.
Thank you.
And
Thank
as
you
an
so
openly
much.
gay black man, I appreciated the fact that we're telling stories
Yes.
that really can resonate to us. You know, the character Vivica Fox is playing is a mom who isn't too aware
Sure.
of what her son is going, through in his personal life. And the sort of dynamic that your character plays along with Vivica's character is super funny.
Thank you.
And
Super
dynamic.
relatable, right?
No, it really is. Yes.
It's so funny because we've been screening. We screened at ABFF in Miami, in London. We did a screening in D.C. So you have people from all walks of life, sexual orientation, religion, ethnicity, and every single person has been able to take something away from
Right.
the
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
We did a screening in Atlanta, and there was this incredible testimony by that one young lady who talked about, just having been in the foster care system and estranged from her own mother and seeing herself in the characters. So that's what I think is so special about this movie.
Well, let's discuss what the movie is about. So for people who haven't seen it, without giving too much away. And by the way, I saw that you had my guy from The Office.
Yes, Leslie
yeah.
David
The Office
Baker.
is like one of my favorite
He came
shows.
on and just did this beautiful cameo, and he opens. And
I love that
closes the
y'all got
film.
him on there because
He's so special.
Yeah.
So
okay.
special.
So
I love him.
Before, what's his name in real life?
Leslie David Baker.
Okay, Leslie David Baker. How did you even approach him and get him for that role? I just have to know because The Office and Curb Your Enthusiasm, of course, Vivica
Right,
was on that.
right, right.
Those are some of my favorite shows. So talk to me about how that happened.
He became my friend. I have the most random encounters with people, and then they become my friends. I was driving one day, and I don't know what I was going through, but I was driving, and he pulls up on the side of me. We're about to make a left onto Coldwater Canyon from Ventura Boulevard in LA, and I'm about to make a left, and he pulls up beside of me, and he said, "Pick up your head, young man." And I looked over.
Were you
and
on
I
the
was like-
phone?
and I was, no.
Okay.
I think I was looking a little. He says I was looking a little down.
Okay.
Right. And so he yells, "Pick up your head, young man." I look over. I'm like, Stanley. so I'm like, why is Stanley in the office giving me from the office giving me a pep talk? And then he hit me up. I hit him up on social media, and I said, hey, I was actually going through it, and you said pick your head up, and I appreciate that. And we just started chatting and became friends, and. A couple years later, we were doing this film, and I called him. I actually called him for another project that we did, and he said yes to that. So when I called him for this, he said yes, but only if I can do a scene with Miss Vivica.
Ooh, okay.
And I
fair
said,
enough.
and then I went back to the drawing board. I was like, and wrote that damn scene with him and
gotta add that in
Vivica
here.
because it's just he's just a wonderful human
Yeah,
being.
he
But every
is.
single person in this film was a phone pickup. We didn't have it in the budget to pay a casting
We didn't have no
director.
casting director.
You know what I'm saying? So we basically this was cast between myself and Jabari. Jabari's the one that brought us Brittany S. Hall plays my sister. It's just it really is a family film, but it's also created by a family.
Okay, I love that.
That's good. So, Jabari, let's talk about your character because a lot happens in the first couple of minutes. I'm not going to give it away. But what drove you to doing this movie?
first of all, a call from Jussie, you know. But beyond the call, it was as many topics that it covered. You know, it covered the same gender-loving couple. It covered the same heterosexual couples. It covered different relationships of family. So I was very inspired to, you know, really play along all the things that it had to offer. And, you know, we really don't get that nowadays, especially with the concept of what was going on black same gender loving couples leading a movie. So it was just really fun to do, and I was also very excited.
You know, it's interesting because Carlos and I had a conversation. It wasn't even about this movie, but behind the scenes we were talking about a show that you had. Carlos, maybe you want to expand on that and how difficult it is to get, you know, the movies made that it's same gender and that also they can be critically acclaimed, but are the numbers there?
Are they commercially?
Yeah, I was telling her I had a show with Jason Bozeman and Derek Curtis, you know, a married, you know, gay black couple on Netflix called Styling Hollywood.
Oh, I used to love that show.
Yeah,
that was good. I love Jason.
They're amazing. The show lasted for one season because on Netflix your shows are seen in 190 countries, and unfortunately the reach wasn't. Yeah, and I was telling Angela that, you know, when it comes to having movies, unscripted shows as well, it is challenging to have movies and unscripted shows greenlit that features.
That features solely. Like I tried as well for a very long time. It's so funny. Before Legendary, right?
Oh, Legendary.
I don't know if you remember this, but I had a show that was about the ballroom scene, right? Because I thought it was so fascinating when you talk about family. That entire culture is about family, you know, becoming a family. And I always thought with all of the things that you have to go through to become part of a house, right? That it had an inherent like competitive element to it. So I was like, this is a great formatted show, and could not get anyone, not even Logo, that was at the time the network for the community. They would not even bite into it. And so for me personally, it's always about shining a light on and providing a platform for you know, marginalized. And I'm doing air quotes because it's only perceived marginalization, right? We are all part of the wider humanity. So the fact that we still have to, you know, segregate ourselves in that way. Oh, this is a movie for the LGBTQ community. This is a black movie. Like, my goal every day is just to do good projects.
And be a storyteller.
That tell the stories that are relatable across all people. And that's what I love about the way Jussie writes.
No.
You read that script and it didn't, you know, you forget even with B-Boy Blues that, oh, wait, this is a same-sex couple. It was just a loving couple.
It was just a guy who was kind of an asshole to
and I mean, come on, we've all dated toxic people. We've all, you know, experienced that. So I feel like, that's the way to. I also find that the problem is a lot of times is you may find it more difficult for somebody to license or purchase something based on a story. That's why, for instance, B-Boy Blues, I can't tell you that B-Boy Blues would have been made had we not gone and done it. That was self-financed by myself, only my company. And so I don't know that if I tried to go into a corporation or some sort of network or studio and get money for that, I don't think that I would have gotten it made. So I think that BET stepped in. Mona literally walked it into BET, and but it was already made. And then as far as The Lost Holiday, again, I don't know if we would have gotten anything like this greenlit, but we greenlit it ourselves. So I think that as long as we keep doing that, because a lot of these spaces that are very broad, they're too small for gay storylines, and then a lot of the places that are broad enough for gay storylines, they're not broad enough for black gay storylines. So just pushing that forward, showing that we're so much more alike than not, is really what our goal has been with all of these projects, and especially with The Lost Holiday.
Yeah, I hate the term normalizing.
Right.
But it's really just about creating a space for all stories to be told.
Right, it's real life.
That's just what the agenda is. Good stories. Right. And this is a good story. The writing, the directing, the acting, you know.
And I love the fact I love the fact that we started off not liking Vivica.
Right.
Because I was like,
But that is a
but that was
testament to her.
She did a great job.
She
Wonderful.
owns that role,
Yeah.
and you know that woman. We've all come across
Yes.
her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her everything from the nuanced facial expression. She is brilliant. Shout out to Vivica.
Shout out to
Brilliant.
And she produced
Absolutely
the movie
wonderful.
as
Yes,
well.
she did.
along
Yes, she
with
did.
us.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, just to see like the progress that she makes.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was. I had no idea where it was gonna go.
Yeah.
So that's why at first when I actually watched some of it before I brought it in, and I started it over because I was like, "Come on, Carlos." I didn't know if he was gonna be able to stay
Yeah.
and do the interview, but you
But
know,
after watching, I was like, I gotta stay.
All right. Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
because
That's
listen,
wonderful.
This is my community, and I wanted
Yes.
to make sure that I co-sign that people should go and watch this movie. It's really fascinating and interesting to see our stories being told. So thank you, Mona, for also hopping on board.
Yes,
too,
yes,
because
yes.
it takes allies to really help us
does.
get these things to the finish line.
Absolutely.
why
does.
was it important for you guys to have this in theaters? I know it's a limited release
Yeah.
in AMC, but why was that important?
Well, because of the support that's needed, right? This was an independent project. We need people to go out and support these movies because that's how we're able to get into, the mainstream buyers and the distributors. But we needed to go out and create some momentum around the project.
Oh, so it's not going to be somewhere else right after that. Is it still creating momentum by having the limited release?
Of course,
Okay.
because we want people to go out. We want them to be talking about the movie, and that allows us to walk into these buyers with some leverage.
Because I
And
feel
we're
like
looking.
it's done, it's packaged, it's an amazing project. I would think this would be an easy sell. I thought that it was a limited release in theaters, and then right after that, we'll be able to.
Well, that's the
go
goal,
on.
girl.
Okay.
That's the goal.
But here's the thing. On top of that, it also is a thing of this is the type of project that I want to see in theaters.
Yeah.
It's,
Yes,
when I was
exactly.
growing
That's
up,
important.
if I had seen these type of films, I would have had a different understanding of myself much earlier on. And I think that I want for people who will watch a project like this to have the same experience when they were in the theaters watching Soul Food, when they were in the theaters watching Steel Magnolias. I want them to have that experience, and they should. I don't want us to look. B-Boy Blues was incredible, and it went to BET Plus, and that is wonderful. But for this film, I really wanted people to be able to have the theater experience, and that to me is special, to be able to see representation on the big screen.
Yes.
Let's all talk about what is the last movie y'all went to the movie theater to see? If
Oh,
you could.
Oh, The
damn.
Burial with my little sister and
Okay.
Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
Because that was in limited theaters as well, and then they went to streaming. That's the last film that I
Yeah.
saw.
I'm a movie buff. I go to
So
the
you go to
movie.
theater, okay.
I went to go see Speak No Evil last Saturday.
I can't even remember. I'm not even going to lie.
The last movie we saw in the theater was
My-
Lost Holiday.
Yeah, my last movie was The Lost Holiday.
we saw.
I missed that
Besides that, though, because I'm saying honestly, like when you think about it, because I used to go to the movies so much, and I still do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see Pharrell's movie.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
Definitely gonna go see Smile Part 2. I
Shout
love
out
horror
Missy
movies.
Elliott, Busta Rhymes there
right.
represented in that. Oh, you're talking about the Lego movie.
Yeah, the Lego
Yes,
movie, Piece
exactly.
by
Piece
Piece.
by piece.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
want to go see Halle Berry's movie just so I could put on a wig, because she was doing that whole like everybody go see her movie with
yeah,
the funny
with the
wig.
stress wig.
I think that is so fun.
That's
I
fun
want to
wig
go.
on.
That.
Yes.
So things like that I think really help. Like when people were going to see, the Barbie movie was such a big deal when it came out, but people really got dressed up, or like Sex in the City,
Yep.
the movie, people got dressed up to go out and go to the movies. And the experience is different now, because I feel like when I go to the movies, I need to be able to order drinks from my seat.
Listen.
You know what? You are so theater spoiled now.
Yes.
I am. It's a special
It
thing.
is.
But
It's
yeah.
fun now. It's fun.
All right, well, let's talk some more about, just the whole plot of this movie, because like I said, we're not giving away too much, but were there certain scenes for you, Jabari, that were emotional while...
All the scenes were emotional because the movie embodies so much feeling, like laughter, sadness, grief, forgiveness, grace. Like it embodies a whole range of emotion, and my castmates are such professionals in the craft. So you got to bring it, and they bring it right back.
You
So,
brought it though, Jabari.
Thank you. So it really allowed true exploration of of feeling and truth and reality. So yeah.
I just think about the flashback scenes. Oh
Yeah.
my
Ooh,
God.
yeah.
To me, I can't even imagine the grief of like losing your partner. That has to be something that is one of the hardest things. Besides, I think losing a child, because
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
that's something that's like the most devastating thing according to the natural order of how things should happen.
Right. Right.
You don't want to have to deal with that. So.
And I
Right.
think, Jussie, when you talk about, especially in your community, when, you would lose a partner, you get extricated from their
that's
lives.
exactly what we were so inspired by.
Right.
That is so. I tell this often that I have so many mentors that are in their 60s or even 70s who, particularly at the height of the AIDS pandemic in the 80s, and they lost their partners, they lost their life partners, and maybe were extracted from their legacy. Were not allowed in the room. Were not allowed to go to the funeral. Maybe their family kind of stepped back in and took them out of the life of that. And that is such a, it's so unfortunate. So it kind of is, that, and I was also inspired by my mother. I keep saying that this film was absolutely inspired by my mother as a black woman who married into a non-black family in the 70s and raised us in the 80s and the 90s. It was not always easy to navigate that. And my father was not speaking to my grandmother for a very long time. And when he passed, that's when I saw my mother and my grandmother bond.
Right.
So that really is what we see here in this film. And one of the lines that I tell Vivica's character of, do you know how better our lives would have been if you had actually been a mother? And, that's what so many go through, not just because of sexuality, but because of race, because of religion, because
Trust
of
me,
culture.
I know.
So that's definitely something that inspired us for the film.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because it's interesting when you said, trust me, I know. Did you feel that there was something in the movie that kind of connected to an element of your life?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, even with my father being Chinese, when my grandfather passed, he wouldn't speak to me or my brother our whole lives because my father married a black woman. They didn't want the kids, they didn't want my aunts and uncles to come to the wedding or anything. And so even like he had suffered from a stroke and we could see that, the end was near, my dad would be like, oh, sit next to your grandfather, but he was not having that.
Wow.
Yeah, so even in all of that. But my grandmother wasn't really like that, but I feel like she would kind of follow behind what my grandfather wanted.
Yeah.
And so once
Yeah.
he passed, it was, but it was already just so like, strained, I feel like.
Absolutely.
So that's
And
not
that's
an
what
easy
this
thing.
movie, we hope people take away from it, that, it's about family, finding family, loving each other while you're here and while they're here, for you to love on them and appreciating that.
Right.
And then, forgiveness.
Yeah.
I was
Right?
gonna say that
Forgiving
forgiveness is
not
important.
only, the other person, but forgiving yourself. If there are
Because the
things in life.
sad reality of the situation is that someone may pass, unfortunately, without you getting to say everything that you wanted to say, and dare I say, without even being able to make amends with someone maybe that you have fallen out with, and that is so unfortunate. But even still, there's still work that you got to do because you're still here. So you have to do something. You have to try to make amends. If not with them, then at least with the situation, because you're here. So what are you going to do with yourself for the rest of your life?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, because I know so many people, we were estranged from certain family members, and it's not an easy thing. And forgiveness is sometimes difficult because there's a lot of pain that comes with that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I also feel like, certain the older generation, they're not as open to going to
Right.
therapy or doing
Right.
things that they need to do to work on themselves, or being even open to having conversations.
Yep.
And, it is something that you can't turn back the hands of time. And if
Right.
something does happen, are you going to live with the regrets,
Right.
Yep.
from that?
Right.
So many themes we touch on in The Lost
You know what else
Holiday.
I thought about?
In theaters.
Being cremated. Like, what do you want to do after you
Cremated?
pass?
We don't do that.
Yeah, that is something that came up in the movie, and I was like, man, I don't know. Like, I haven't thought about, is that something that I would want to do? But these are things that we all.
Real life conversation.
But that's what it's
the
here
thing.
for, though. It's like, we're not pastors, we're not preachers, we're just artists who are here to like hold up a mirror and just be
Right.
like, "Yo, Angela, you thinking about that now? Like,
Right.
you thinking about that? Like, I want to be wrapped in sheet cloth and planted into a tree. So, I really do. I want to be. I want
Good
to be.
to know.
I want to be
Making a
buried.
note.
I want to be buried, and then I want a tree planted over me so I could be a tree.
Okay.
That's what I want.
All right.
Okay.
That's what
Tree
y'all.
of
Y'all.
life.
So if you see anybody and they doing the other stuff, tell them to put me under the
Like,
tree.
don't
That's
put
what.
any dogs over
Yeah,
here.
don't do none of that. Don't do none of that.
Now, Jussie, I have to ask you, with everything that you've been through.
Do you have to ask, Angela?
Yes, I do. But getting back into Hollywood, do you feel like, okay, because I do think the best thing to do is keep working and keep going, and you can't stop doing that.
Yeah.
So do you feel like things are getting better? You feel like, okay, people are more receptive now, because it was a tough time.
It certainly was a tough time. I mean, unless anybody was living under a rock, yeah, it's been rough. But, this is what I do. I create art, and I hopefully create art that affects people in a really important and impactful and loving way. Anything else for me is just noise. even if the rest of the world has not moved on from it, I am in the process of moving on from it. So all I can really do is keep working, as keeping myself mentally healthy and physically healthy and, spiritually healthy. And I have been working very, very hard in every single element of myself. So, people are going to say what they want to say, and I hope to God, I can't lie to you and sit there and be like, oh, it doesn't bother me. It just brushes right off. No, it bothers me. Sometimes it hurts my feelings. Sometimes it really pisses me off. But at the same time, there are so much more important things that I know factually the world needs to see. And so I'm not interested in necessarily giving everybody what they want, but I will give them what they need, and that's the truth from me, and some good art. That's all I can do.
And how is forgiveness for you? Because people have made jokes and comments, and like you said, they can be really hurtful. But now that
I ain't forgiving shit. No, I'm just
kidding. I know you run into people, and I know that there's times that like maybe somebody now is like, oh yeah, I want to get him on the show. I want to do X, Y, and Z. How are you with that? Because like you said, forgiveness is one of the themes of this movie.
Ask Avion over there, our publicist, how many times it's like,
No, but you know what? Just you know what you do say, because I think like you're full of crap right now, because I have heard you so many times say, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand why people have thought the things that they've thought,
Look, I mean, that is very true. Look, at the end of the day,
if
I've been holding up a
you
mirror
can remove it from being personal and say, let me step
yeah,
back.
no.
I
I can, and I do. But at the same time, I get. Here's the thing: as far as the public goes, I understand why they would feel the way that they did based on the narrative that was spun, and then on top of it, the way that it was served in such a horrendous, egregious way that it's just did not happen. You know what I mean? But at the same time, so I understand that when I take out my emotions, I'm a very emotional person.
Okay.
I'm a Cancer. I'm a very emotional person.
Oh, God.
Very emotional.
I am. I'm very, very emotional. I am. But people think that just means that you're sad when you're Cancer. Like, no, whatever feeling I feel, I
feel it deeply.
Fully.
Yeah.
And so I understand that on a public level, as far as media or people like that, I don't have to talk to you if I don't want to. Like, I'm not going to go to your show and just do it just because I need to promote the movie. There are really great people around that are nice, that ask questions that they need to ask, that they do need to ask, that give me an opportunity to explain certain things. And I appreciate that. But if you're going to come to me in a way that is malicious or vindictive or the gotcha situation, no. And I know who that is. And those are the shows that you have not seen us on.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Drops mic.
Speaking of things, one of the biggest things in this movie is love. And Mona Scott Young and I recently did an interview on my podcast where she gave me so much insight about her relationship and just love and all those themes. So I want to ask you, Jussie and Jabari, are you guys in love?
Wait, what?
Not with each other. No, I'm just saying.
That just came off wrong.
Not with each other.
We're just trying to understand your question. We're just trying to understand your question.
Carlos is also lightweight asking.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He's also lightweight asking because he's single. And so he's trying to do some digging.
Angela is so y'all think I'm the best he was. Really, Angela.
Oh, I answer first. I'm unavailable and I'm in love, so I'm good.
We love that.
How long have you been in a relationship?
About a year.
Sean somewhere being like, that's right.
Mona's married to a wonderful man named Sean.
Okay. Oh, yeah. No, she lets us know.
Yeah, no, we love Sean Young.
Listen, Mona Scott, don't forget the young.
Don't forget the young.
Right.
Don't forget the young.
Right.
So it's been a year for you.
A year for you, Jabari.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We love.
Yeah.
We love
Jussie, what about you? Are you dating?
I too, Carlos, am unavailable and deeply in love.
Wow.
How long has that been going on?
Leave me alone, Carlos. We'll talk after the show.
See, that makes me feel like he can't say a date because there's a couple people who might think, no, I'm kidding.
Y'all they knew they wasn't the one.
Listening, talking about, wait, but we've been together.
But you know what? Honestly, but that's not an easy thing, Mona Scott Young, to achieve, to be in this business, doing the things that you've been doing, going on the road, going on tour, having somebody that's understanding of all of that too, that's got its own thing going on.
That's really really what it
Yeah.
boils down to, having somebody who's secure enough to see what your destiny is and to support that unconditionally.
And there's
And
certain
he
people.
does, because listen, we get emails all the time from Sean handling things, being
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yo,
Sean
we
is
need
a
this K2,
boss.
bro.
Yes.
Like he's on it. He's a
No,
true businessman.
I was like Mona's understudy. You know, Mona has taught me so much in this business. And what I will say is watching this phenomenal woman build this business. And one thing she checked me on our interview, because I said, like, well, how does it feel to be like, you know, the breadwinner? She said,
Wow, Carlos.
because, you know,
So
that's
messy,
I
Carlos.
remember
No,
that.
I asked
That's
the
the
questions,
interview.
and she said, we built this company
Together, right.
Yes.
And that's what made me realize when it comes to the excellence that she, you know, entails with everything she does, is because she does have somebody,
Yeah.
and they work alongside each other.
No, listen, having the
Yeah.
right partner is so important because that person can either bring you down, stress
right.
you out, make
That's
you
right.
unable to work.
That's right.
You know, and steal money from you. Who knows what a person
Embarrass
does
you,
wrong,
make you
embarrass
look less
yeah.
than you are. You know what I
Like
mean?
stress
All
you
of that.
out. I
Yeah.
talk about all the time when I speak to women and they're like, "Oh, how did you have children and pursue a career and have a relationship?" I would never have been able to do it, right? If I did not have someone there that I could trust, that I didn't have to think about,
Yeah.
that didn't stress me out,
Right.
get into any dumb shit that was gonna distract me, you know. So knock on wood, shit.
Yeah. So what advice would you give
this
Kirk
ain't
and
wood,
Rashida?
Listen,
Oh.
Kirk and Rashida, no. Listen,
Who we
Kirk,
know?
Wow.
Kirk and Rashida
Carlos, don't do that.
have
No,
a
that's our
relationship.
friend.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Kirk and Rashida have a relationship that works
for them.
Thank you.
Do you know what I'm saying? And,
And it
that's
works
what
for
I
TV
say.
quite well,
And
too.
listen, and if that's part of what works for them, then so be it, right? They know who they are. They know who they are to each other. They know what their relationship is. They know what their limitations are and what they are willing to put up with and deal with, right? Who are we to sit at home and decide, well, she should leave him? She should do whatever the hell makes her happy.
But that's
And she's
reality
happy.
TV.
You know what I'm
when you put
saying?
in, people are going to do that.
And
They're going to
she and I
weigh
know
in.
Kirk and
Yeah.
Rashida
Yeah.
personally, and one thing I will add to that is Kirk and Rashida, in my opinion, and you may agree with me, they are tailor-made for each other.
yes.
They
Yes.
are. I have never met two people who are more perfect for each other. It doesn't make sense of the world, and I
Right.
get it.
But it doesn't
when
it doesn't
have
have
to.
to.
Doesn't have
That's
to.
the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
It
when
doesn't
you
have to.
know them and you've been around them
Yes.
and you see them, they are yin and yang. They are like perfect.
Absolutely. And there's something to be said for how long they've been together. How many years they going on? I don't know, 30 plus?
30.
Right?
Oh, wow.
So listen.
I'ma mind my
They
business,
doing
right?
something right.
I'm going to mind my business and drink my water.
I'm
Mind your
gonna watch it and
business.
be like, but mind my business, right? And Jesse, you have a new song out too, by the way. I want to
do.
make sure we talk about
Yes,
that
thank you.
as well. All right. So, does this mean a full length album? Because I know singing is your love as well.
Yes, there is a full-length album that is already completed and has been for a little bit. But you know, now I'm confident to put it out. So probably by the end of the year or top of next, it definitely will be out. But the first single is My Mind. It's on the soundtrack of it's in the film The Lost Holiday, and among other songs of mine. So yeah, we're back to music. A large part of the reason why I am even sitting here, though, honestly, is and came back outside and like stopped hiding up in my apartment and up in Harlem. Like is really because of Mona. Mona is the one that
that's
would
good.
call me and
Shout out to
say,
Mona.
yeah, it's true. Mona is the one that came to me and was like, you've got to go outside. You've got to, you've got to live your
some
life.
pants
You've got
on.
to-
Yeah.
yeah, she would literally call and
Yeah.
be like, let's go. And I'd be like, well, I don't want to. Let's go. Boobala, let's go. And you know what I'm saying? So
That's
she
Mona.
really is that person. And this is the thing. It was before we were really working together. You know, it was before. So it wasn't like she was trying to get anything from me. She wasn't trying to be like, yo, come do a reality show or
Right.
anything like that. She really was. She became my friend. And you know, I've been held up and pushed in a loving way, pushed by Mona and Tressa and Vivica and Sheila and my mom, who's an executive producer on the film, and all of these black women that are so powerful in their own right and decided to cut out all of the noise and just be like, you've got to go and you've got to do what you do.
And just be like, you're incredibly talented.
thank you.
Stand in that talent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All
Now,
right.
would you do a reality show, Jussie?
Never.
Carlos. Well, I don't know, Carlos. Bring me the contract and we'll see what they're paying.
Mona needs 10%.
if he was gonna do a reality show,
what would it be?
We'd be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think Mona knows. Like, if I was gonna do it, that I would do it with her.
They've been reaching out to him. I know
they have.
Everybody has reached out. Everybody has reached out. I mean, but even before everything, you know, my family. You know, when I remember when the Kardashians popped on the scene, and then that became a thing of like, oh, who's like the
family.
black family that we can do this with. So we've been approached for years. I think that we're just far too private of a family.
I love your sister. I don't know her personally.
I love her
at all.
so much.
She's a sweet.
She is my favorite
head,
actor.
like,
I am not biased.
She's amazing.
No, but the whole damn family, because then his brother and sister have a show where they do makeovers, and they did my
Living
backyard.
by Design. They did Mona's.
They came in and did my backyard. Yes.
Yep. Living by Design.
Well,
Shout out to
by
Living by
Design.
Design.
Hold on, I'm doing my backyard right now.
Oh, wait, hold on now. They doing the next season. What you need?
What
you need?
You might need to slow down, Angela.
Let's go.
And like literally while we sit here, they're working on my backyard.
They did Mona's backyard. They did Heather B's backyard. They did. Come on, Angela.
No, they
missing out.
did a fantastic job, and you know I'm a control freak,
Yes,
right?
I know,
Literally,
Mona.
I left. And they did, and I came in, and it was beautiful. And I hate the fact that I haven't been home. I was out on tour all summer, so I didn't get a chance to enjoy my backyard.
But you'll be able to do like winter barbecues and stuff. That's
No,
nice.
I live in.
Okay.
No.
Where it snows.
All right.
Don't say where you live.
Well, listen, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And Friday, limited in theaters, The Lost Holiday.
Yes.
You can listen to some new Jussie Smollett music on there as well. And thank you again, Jabari. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Mona, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us.
And Carlos, you know I love when you sit in, so thank you.
Thanks for having me here, and I get to be surrounded by friends. So
Mona might come guest host one day. I don't know.
That would be
I'd
amazing.
love
be
to.
lit.
I told you that the
Kill it.
last time.
I know you booked and busy.
And I was
though.
like, you got Carlos? No.
Oh my God!
All right.
I'm kidding.
All right.
You can tell when y'all are real friends. That's real friendship.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.